Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Alicia and on this channel I talk all things luxury, fashion and life, so if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Now for today's video, we are actually going to take a dive into the world of watches, specifically men's watches. As we can tell by the bag, this is Seiko related. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Seiko as a brand, only briefly, and then we're going to go into the unboxing and the specifics of this particular watch, and then I'm going to share our shopping experience at the Seiko Sydney boutique. So Seiko is a Japanese watch house which was founded in 1881 by a then 22-year-old entrepreneur, Kintaro Hattori. Now, when he first opened his store in Tokyo, he was only fixing watches and wall clocks. So I want to make it very clear that right off the bat, he was not producing watches. In fact, he wouldn't start producing wall clocks until 1892. 3 years after that, he produces his first pocket watch. And in 1913, Seiko produced the first wristwatch to be made in Japan, and that's kind of what puts Seiko as a brand on the map. Now in 1960, and I want to emphasize that a lot of things happened between 1913 and 1960, but in 1960 Seiko creates the Grand Seiko, which would become its best-selling timepiece. Now in 2017, the Grand Seiko brand separates from the main body of Seiko, and that's primarily because they wanted to create Grand Seiko as a luxury brand. Now, while Seiko makes some amazing pieces, they're definitely not considered in the watch world at the caliber of Breitling and Tag Heuer and Rolex, but Grand Seiko is. Grand Seiko pieces are made on a very, very different level to the rest of Seiko and to a much higher caliber. Today, Seiko is known as an affordable watch brand that provides pieces of great quality and pieces that are built to last. Now, on to the unboxing. So this is a birthday present for Bubs, and unfortunately, no, it is not a surprise. He came to the store with me to pick it out just because in all of the time that we've been dating, he's never actually worn a watch. And quite frankly, I didn't even know if he would like the idea of owning one. So let's go into the unboxing. So as you can see, we've got a very nice, simple black and white bag. It just says Seiko on the front of it. Now, inside, we've got the polishing cloth, the invoice. I will go into pricing on this specific timepiece a little bit later. We also did get a complimentary pen and an umbrella, which I didn't think about the complimentary things that we would get, so we ended up walking around the city all day with probably the world's biggest umbrella, very positively the largest umbrella that we own because it fits like 2.5 people. Now we have the watch itself. So in a gorgeous white box, we've got Seiko just here. It's in silver. Oh. And here we have it. So this is the watch itself. Now, what I will do is I will insert a couple clips of it because this watch doesn't really come out well on camera or in general in dark rooms, and it's because the watch face is like this really deep purple color. I will also insert the photo that Seiko have used as their inspiration for the color of the watch face, and I think you guys will understand why. But I will definitely attach photos and videos of this watch so you guys can get a better idea of what it looks like. Now I'm going to discuss the watch itself. This watch has come from the Sharp Edged series. It is a limited edition watch. There are two variations to this watch, essentially the GMT and the non-GMT. This is the non-GMT version. I will insert a photo of the GMT version as well. Additionally, I'm going to link both watches down in the description so that if either piece is something that you are potentially interested in, you are more than welcome to go down below and follow the links through to Seiko's website and either purchase it directly off them or find your nearest boutique. This is an automatic watch with manual winding. It has a 70-hour power reserve, which in my opinion is a really, really good power reserve, considering there are options out there, some of them which are half the power reserve of this particular piece. The GMT, I did look it up, has a 45-hour power reserve, so that is something to factor in. Now, this watch has two functions, and that is to tell the time, obviously. We've got a minute, hour, and second hand. I don't know why I said it in that order. And then if we can see here, we have a little box that also tells the date. So those are the two functions of this watch. This watch is made from stainless steel with a hard coating, which is what gives it its black color. The face is 39 millimeters and is made from sapphire crystal. The back as well is also made from sapphire crystal. I will pop a photo up of what the back looks like, but essentially the sapphire crystal means that you can see the entire mechanism from the back and all of the movements, and the polishing cloth is to clean the front and the back of this watch. The clasp of this watch is a 3-fold clasp with a push button release. So it is a very, very simple clasp to use. I will insert a close-up of what it looks like. This watch weighs 155 grams and is 100 meters water resistant. That being said, I still personally would not recommend just diving headfirst in a pool with a watch on. Obviously, if you're washing your hands or whatever, it's fine to get it a little bit wet, but definitely would not recommend just like head first into a swimming pool. That's a no. Now, on the back of this watch and any watch that's come from the series, there will actually be a number on the back out of 2000. This watch is number 207 out of 2000, and that is because in both the GMT and the non-GMT version, they've done a limited production run of 2000 watches. So each watch will have a different number on it and it will just be numbered accordingly. Now, it also states specifically that you can't pick the number. I know some people have preferences to which number they don't want, for example. That is not an option because of how it's distributed. Now, on to pricing. So, like I said before, Seiko is a relatively affordable watch brand. Now, obviously, I know everyone's idea of affordable varies, but I am saying this in comparison to some of your other watch brands. So, for example, Tag Heuer, Breitling, Rolex, IWC, for example. Seiko in that scheme is considered affordable. There are watches in Australia from Seiko that are under $600–700 a piece. So there definitely are the options there. So this specific timepiece was $1,500. So again, it is on the lower scale in the world of watches, but it is still a lot of money to spend, which is why in particular I actually ended up bringing Bubs with me to both visits in store, because it is still a lot of money to spend on a timepiece if, one, he doesn't get enough wear out of it, and two, if he just does not like watches or the design in general. Now, the GMT version retails for $2,150. Finally, I'm going to talk a little bit about our in-shop experience. So we made a total of 2 visits to the Seiko store out on Pitt Street. It was on the second visit that we decided to buy the watch. So the first visit initially was to see this watch. This was the watch that I personally had in mind for Bubs, and he went in store and tried that on. He also tried it on in a green face as well. Now, while he did like both watches, and I think it's because we tried on those specific pieces, they both come out of the Presage range that the SA recommended and told us about the sharp-edged limited edition piece, because similarly it is also a Presage watch. She gave us the rundown of the watch and told us that it was going to be coming in early 2023. She didn't really have a set date. She did inform us though that it was a limited production watch, that Australia as a whole would be getting limited quantities, and Seiko as a brand does not share stock internationally. So once the Australian stock is depleted, you cannot purchase it in store in Australia anymore. Obviously you may still be able to purchase it online, but that's pretty much the go. So she then gave us the option to put a $500 deposit on the watch, and she would effectively, that would mean she would set aside a piece when they did arrive in Australia. We went back and forth with some questions about this and ultimately ended up deciding, because of their returns policy, that we wouldn't actually be putting the deposit down. And that's because while Seiko do offer refunds, they don't offer refunds, they offer store credits. And what we didn't want was the potential of getting store credit for potentially watches that we may not end up getting, or there was no guarantee that Bobs would walk away with a Seiko watch. It was just a store that I had considered based off of my watch experience and I thought would be a good starting point. So then a little bit of time goes by and we get to Friday 13th of January and I get a phone call from her letting me know that the stock has arrived in the Australian store. She was also really nice, really sweet, and she did send me some photos of both watches, the GMT and the non-GMT version, and Bob saw those photos and we decided that on Saturday before our hairdressing appointment that we would go in store and see the watch in person. So Saturday 14th, we went in store, took a look at the watch, and even though I thought originally it was gorgeous, I think it looked a lot nicer in person. It's a very deep purple, which I really like. I think personally I was too worried it was going to be like this vibrant purple, but it looked absolutely amazing. It was absolutely gorgeous, and we made the decision then and there that that was the watch we would be getting. So obviously payments, everything's processed, and then Bubs gets 3 links removed. Now something to actually mention is Seiko don't do half links. So for most people, you will end up having to choose between a slightly looser watch or a slightly tighter watch. Bubs went with looser, so he took 3 links off, and they've given us the 3 links in a little Ziploc bag, so that should at a later date he decides that he wants to add another link or he wants to take another link off, we still have the link. So with our brief encounter with Seiko, I can say it was an amazing experience. So I would definitely recommend going in boutique. I think the service is amazing. Obviously I can only speak for Sydney, but yeah, that was our experience with Seiko, and I definitely would recommend it 100%. So that is all I have for today's video. Let me know whether you guys like me covering men's luxury fashion. Is it something that you're interested in seeing more of, and do you guys have any personal watch recommendations? Thank you so much for watching this video, and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Bye!